Hello friends, welcome to the part 2 of the fourth unit of this excellent course that we are doing together. In the part 1 of this unit, we discussed about the concept of uprightness. As you remember, we said that walking the straight path is a very beautiful image that can come to our mind when we talk of uprightness. And we can walk the straight path, not the crooked path, only when we are able to see the path. And the light which can show us the correct path is the light of truth. We cannot go the correct path by following the falsehood. So the light of truth is necessary, which comes from different lamps, and one lamp is the lamp of principles. And we discussed that principles are the laws that have governed the nature for millions of years. So when we face a moral dilemma, to come out of it, the first thing we need to do is to identify the principles, because based on the principles, then we can see the correct path that leads us to the right solution. So this is a skill that we need to develop. You see, we discussed the concept of uprightness, and we also discussed the first skill, and that is the skill of identifying the principle. These are two elements of capability building that we have referred to it before. In this session, we want to discuss about two other elements, and that is the spiritual and moral qualities we should have in order to be able to walk the straight path, and also the attitudes. So, in addition to justice, that we said with justice we are able to, to tear apart the blindfold of prejudice that may come to us. So justice is the first quality that we should have. But in addition to that, we also need to nurture a number of other spiritual qualities within ourselves to be able to walk the straight path and have the life of rectitude. Now, some of these qualities are truthfulness, sincerity, honesty, faithfulness, and of course, fair-mindedness. Now, everybody agrees that truthfulness is the foundation of uprightness and rectitude of conduct. But what is less discussed and understood is that truthfulness is the foundation of all virtues. And it is not possible to have any moral behavior without truthfulness. Now, to understand this better, let's discuss if it is possible to develop other qualities without being truthful. For example, can one develop and show love, but a love that is mixed with falsehood and lies? What type of love is it? Of course, you don't want to have such a love given to you which is not true. And what does it mean when we say that a charlatan, a dishonest man, is a very kind person? How does it work? Now, after truthfulness, which is the foundation of all the virtues, and please discuss with your learning partner about it, we should think about honesty, that is a quality of our soul. Discuss what are some of the characteristics one can see in a dishonest person. And why is it so bad to steal something from another person? Why should not we take for ourselves something that belongs to somebody else? Unfortunately, there is so much of corruption in the society that people give justification for every dishonest action. And it is generally said that poverty justifies stealing. And sadly, it is said that the poor are dishonest, which is very unfair. If poverty is the cause of dishonesty, then why are there so many rich people who steal? And when the rich steal, you can't compare it with what the poor steal. Hundreds of thousands times more is what the rich can steal. And as you know, stealing happens in different forms. Could be in terms of material things. Stealing also can happen in terms of intellectual things. Stealing can be emotional, moral, and so on and so forth. So, with your learning partner, write down examples, a few examples of stealing prevalent among the people today. To remain firm on honesty, we need to have a standard for our honesty. And that we should always uphold. For example, one standard is a man will not steal from his neighbor even if he were dying from hunger. Now, this is a standard which is very powerful. But some people may say that, well, this is very cruel, very unreasonable, that somebody dies of hunger and does not steal from his neighbor, who may not be a very good person. Well, one thing we should remember is that in a society where everybody is honest, no one will die from hunger. So, if honesty is the standard, then there will be no death because of hunger and because of poverty. So, this is the standard for us as individuals and also for the society as a whole that we wish to create. Other qualities which are required for a life of uprightness are, for example, sincerity. It's faithfulness. So, question to ask is, how sincerity is different from truthfulness and honesty? Think about it. Is it the same, or they are really different from each other? Suppose, is it possible to be sincere and lie? Is it possible to be truthful but insincere? And what about what is faithfulness? What does betrayal mean? Why is faithfulness so important for having an upright life? How is it relating, faithfulness and life of rectitude of conduct? Wow, they are quite connected with each other. So discuss these questions with your co-learner and then write a few situations in which unfaithfulness or insincerity of a person became an obstacle to uprightness. The spiritual qualities we have so far discussed, they are the foundations of rectitude of conduct, just like the foundations of a building. On the top of the foundation, the building itself should be constructed. You know, in a building, you don't see the foundation usually, but you see what is above the foundation. And that is our ability to live our life with rectitude. Therefore, another component of capability building is our attitude. Attitude is what you see. It's like the edifice, like the building which is seen. You know, if one has many good qualities, spiritual qualities, they are within one's own self. But attitude is what is outside and people can see. Although our attitudes depend on our spiritual qualities. Now, there are some attitudes that contribute to rectitude of conduct. And there are some attitudes that we have to give up in order to have rectitude of conduct. So, there's an activity that you need to do here. And the activity is that you discuss with your learning partner and write your conclusions about a number of situations which involve attitude. For example, the attitude of how we deal with our desires. You know, sometimes our desires can take us away from the path of walking according to principles. So, how should be our attitude towards our desires? Similarly, there are a number of other questions that really helps us to think more deeply into the corners of our thoughts and see what attitudes we should have and what we should not have. And there's another activity which has two options, so choose whichever option you like and then answer that activity. Thank you very much.